One, stop where you are. Do not move. Just breathe. Do you feel that sudden quietness in the air? It is not a coincidence, and it is certainly not just empty silence. What you are sensing is the deafening sound of a spiritual war that has instantly ended. For months, perhaps even years, you have lived in a state of maximum alert, flinching at every shadow, waiting for the next blow, anticipating the next betrayal. Your nervous system has been wired for survival, constantly scanning for threats. But I have been sent here today with a divine, irrevocable decree. It is done. It is finished. The heavy burden that has been suffocating your finances, your peace of mind, and your relationships has just been broken in the invisible realm. You are physically safe, but your spirit is still trembling because you have not yet realized that the enemy has retreated. This is the moment your soul has been crying out for, even if your mind hasn't caught up to the reality of your liberation. Now that the smoke is clearing and the noise of battle is fading, you are faced with a new, perhaps unfamiliar challenge: how to navigate peace and how to build a legacy on this cleared ground. This is why I strongly encourage you to explore the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not just a book. It is a comprehensive trilogy designed specifically for this moment of your journey. It serves as a practical map for the chosen to finally awaken to who they really are, to heal the invisible locks that have kept abundance at bay, and to expand with true stability. We are talking about learning how to receive, sustain, and multiply your blessings without that lingering sense of guilt or fear that it will all be taken away. Whether you prefer to read the ebook or listen to the audiobook while you meditate, this trilogy is the blueprint for your next chapter. If you feel that this knowledge resonates with where you are heading, I invite you to click the link in the pinned comment or description to begin this journey. It is time to secure your foundation. With that foundation in mind, I need you to open your spirit right now to receive a visceral truth. You are not just listening to another message. You are attending your own spiritual graduation ceremony. The suffering you have endured will never, and I mean never, touch you in the same way again. Welcome to your freedom. This is a divine appointment, a moment of Kairos time, where the timeline of heaven intercepts the timeline of earth to permanently alter a destiny. You have been living in Chronos time, watching the clock tick, seeing the days pass while the pain persisted. But as you hear my voice, realize that the clock of your tribulation has stopped. As we mark this date, January 23rd, understand that God is issuing a restraining order against every spirit that has harassed you. Think of the promise in Exodus, where the people were told that the Egyptians they saw that day, they would never see again. Receive this into your modern reality. The crushing debt you see today, you will never see again. The mental fog and confusion, never again. The cycle of betrayal from those you trusted, never again. It is being wiped from your Akashic record right now. If you are ready to accept this closure, take a moment to like this video, not for the algorithm, but as a digital act of agreement, sealing this decree in your own reality. You must understand why this feels so strange. When you have been in the trenches for so long, peace can feel unsettling. Your body is addicted to the cortisol of crisis. You might find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, heart racing, looking for a problem that no longer exists. This is the phantom pain of a war that is over. The enemy wants you to believe that the quiet is just the calm before another storm, but that is a lie designed to keep you in a prison that has already been unlocked. The storm is not coming back. You are not in the eye of the hurricane. You have walked out of the storm entirely. The turbulence you felt was the shaking of your old foundation so that a new, unshakable one could be laid. Consider the heat you have felt recently. It was not the fire of destruction. It was the refiner's fire. You were not being burned. You were being purified. The impurities, the attachments to lower frequencies, the relationships that could not go where you are going, they were all burned away. Now look at what remains. You're still standing. You're stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. If you recognize this strength in yourself, consider subscribing to the channel so we can continue to reinforce this new identity together. This shift is specific. It is targeting the cyclical nature of your struggles. Notice how you have faced the same demons wearing different faces, the same financial wall every time you tried to advance. That cycle is the Egypt that is being left behind. The spiritual legal right the enemy claimed to have over your life has been revoked. Why now? Because you have finally surrendered the need to control the outcome and started trusting the process. You stopped fighting the current and started floating, and that surrender broke the lock. As you move forward from this day, January 23rd, you will notice a change in your atmosphere. People who used to drain you will simply lose interest and fall away. Opportunities that were blocked will suddenly open with ease. This is the evidence of the shift. But be warned, do not look back. Do not romanticize the past or wonder if you left something behind. Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt, frozen, calcified, unable to move into her future. Your eyes must be fixed forward. The rear-view mirror is broken for a reason. There is a profound stillness coming into your home. Where there was chaos, there will be order. Where there was lack, there will be flow. But you must participate in this new reality. You must agree with it. Speak it over your life. Wake up and declare, the war is over. Remind your nervous system that it is safe to rest. If you are ready to claim this peace, share this message with someone else who has been in the battle with you. Sometimes the key to our own freedom is unlocking the door for another. We are entering a season of rapid restoration. What the locusts have eaten will be restored, not just in quantity, but in quality. The years you felt were wasted were actually years of deep root growth. You were growing down so you could grow up. Now, the visible growth begins. Do not be surprised if things happen quickly now. Acceleration is the hallmark of this new season. What used to take years will take months. What took months will happen in weeks. However, with this new territory comes a new responsibility. You are no longer the victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your destiny. The tools of your past survival, fear, defensiveness, isolation, will not work in this new land. You must learn the tools of the conqueror: gratitude, vision, and connection. This is why it is vital to stay connected to this frequency. As we close this chapter of pain, remember that the blank page in front of you is not empty. It is full of potential. The ink is in your hand. The author of your faith has handed the pen to you and said, "Write the vision." But there is one final, crucial element to this graduation that many overlook, a subtle trap that can pull you back if you are not vigilant. It involves the comfort of the known misery versus the terror of the unknown joy. Are you truly ready to be happy? Because happiness requires courage. It requires you to drop the identity of the wounded one and pick up the mantle of the healed one. It is a heavy mantle, but it is glorious. And as you stand here on the precipice of this new life, there is a specific vibration you need to master to ensure the door to the past stays shut forever. This vibration is the frequency of unqualified worthiness. It is the deep, resonant knowing that you do not need to suffer anymore to justify your existence. For so long, you have unconsciously believed that your pain was the currency you paid for your space on this earth. You believed that if you were not struggling, you were not growing, or worse, that if you were not vigilant, you were vulnerable. But the shift that is occurring now demands that you lay down that weapon. You must become comfortable with things going right. It sounds simple, but for a nervous system wired for warfare, peace can feel like a threat. Silence can feel like an ambush waiting to happen. You might find yourself scanning the horizon for the next disaster simply because your body does not know how to metabolize joy without suspicion. This is the precipice where many fall back, not because the enemy pushed them, but because the altitude of their new life made them dizzy. You need a map for this high ground. You need to understand how to stabilize your footing when the ground beneath you is no longer shaking but firm. This is why I have brought together the essential wisdom for this specific transition in the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not merely a collection of ideas, it is a trilogy, a structured sequence designed to guide you through awakening to your true nature, healing the invisible fractures of the past, and finally expanding into your potential without the fear of collapsing. It serves as a practical manual for the chosen to learn how to receive, sustain, and multiply their blessings without the crushing weight of guilt. Whether you choose to absorb this through the ebook or listen to the audio experience, the goal is the same: to reprogram your mind for stability. If you feel that pull to solidify your new reality, you can find the link to this trilogy in the pinned comment or description below. It is there for those ready to stop visiting their destiny and start inhabiting it. Returning to this vibration of worthiness, we must address the biological addiction to chaos. When you have lived in survival mode for years, your body becomes flooded with stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, your baseline for normal shifts. You become chemically dependent on the rush of solving problems, fighting battles, and putting out fires. When the fires are out and the battles are won, you may experience a strange withdrawal. You might feel bored, flat, or even depressed. This is not a spiritual failure. It is a physiological reset. Do not mistake this withdrawal for a sign that something is wrong. It is simply the evidence that your internal chemistry is recalibrating to a frequency of peace. You must be patient with yourself during this detox. You are moving from a fuel source of adrenaline to a fuel source of inspiration. Adrenaline pushes you from behind with fear. Inspiration pulls you forward with vision. The transition between the two can feel like stalling, but you are not stalling, you are refueling. During this time, it is vital that you do not manufacture new crises just to feel normal again. Observe the urge to pick a fight, to overspend, or to procrastinate until it becomes an emergency. Recognize these impulses for what they are, echoes of an old addiction trying to reassert itself. This is where the concept of the upper limit comes into play. We all have an internal thermostat setting for how much love, success, and creativity we allow ourselves to enjoy. When we exceed that setting, when things get too good, our subconscious mind triggers a self-sabotage mechanism to bring us back down to a familiar zone of discomfort. You might finally get that financial breakthrough, and suddenly you get sick, or you pick a fight with your spouse. This is your ego trying to protect you from the unknown territory of unrestricted joy. To conquer this, you must consciously expand your capacity to feel good. When a blessing comes, do not deflect it. Do not immediately look for the catch. Sit with it. Breathe it in. Extend the duration of your happiness by just a few seconds each time. You are stretching the container of your soul so that it can hold the abundance that is pouring in. If this concept of expanding your capacity resonates with you, and you are realizing that you may have been capping your own growth, take a moment to like this video. It signals to the algorithm, but more importantly to your own mind, that you are ready to break that glass ceiling. As you stabilize in this new territory, you will encounter the law of the vacuum. The scripture warns us that when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, it wanders through dry places seeking rest, and finding none, it says, "I will return to my house from which I came." And when it comes, it finds the house swept and put in order, but empty. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits, more wicked than itself, and they enter and dwell there. The lesson here is profound and often misunderstood. You cannot simply remove the negative. You must replace it with the positive. You cannot just stop the bad habits. You must cultivate good ones. An empty house is an invitation for invasion. Now that the legal right of the enemy has been revoked, you have a swept and ordered house. But if you leave it empty, if you do not fill your mind with truth, your hands with productive work and your heart with gratitude, the old patterns will try to return with sevenfold force. You must occupy your territory. This means actively pursuing the things that light you up. What have you delayed because you were too busy surviving? Painting, writing, starting a business, gardening. Now is the time. These are not trivial hobbies. They are the furniture of your new life. They are the things that fill the vacuum so that fear has no room to sit down. Consider the people who are leaving your life. This is often the most painful part of the graduation. You want to bring them with you. You want to explain to them what you have seen, hoping they will wake up too. But you must understand that everyone is on their own timeline. Trying to wake someone up before they are ready is a violation of their free will, and it often results in them attacking you. They are not attacking you personally. They are attacking the light that is shining in their eyes and disturbing their sleep. There is a phenomenon known as crab mentality. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it can easily crawl out. But if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, whenever one tries to escape, the others will pull it back down. They do not do this out of malice, they do it out of instinct. Your elevation triggers their insecurity. Your healing highlights their wounds. Your freedom reminds them of their cage. Do not judge them, but do not let them pull you back into the bucket. You must love them from a distance. You must intercede for them from the high ground. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to succeed so completely that you become a lighthouse, a visible proof that escape is possible. If you stay in the dark with them to make them feel comfortable, no one gets out. This brings us to the new language you must learn. For years, your internal dialogue may have been shaped by defense. I hope I don't fail. I hope they don't hurt me. I just need to get through this week. This is the language of the victim. The language of the victor is different. It is not arrogant, it is assured. It shifts from I hope to I am. It shifts from getting through to growing through. You must catch yourself when you speak the old dialect. Words are containers for power. When you say, I am so tired, you are instructing yourselves to fatigue. When you say, I never have enough money, you are signing a contract with lack. You are the prophet of your own life. Prophesy to your dry bones. Speak life to your bank account, even if it looks empty. Speak health to your body, even if it feels weak. This is not delusion. This is dominion. You are calling those things which are not as though they were. This is how the Creator operates, and you are made in that image. If you are ready to change your vocabulary and speak with the authority of a king or queen, type, I speak life in the comments. Let that be your declaration today. Let's go deeper into the subtle trap of phantom guilt. As you begin to prosper, and you will prosper, for the season of harvest is here, you may feel a twinge of guilt for leaving the struggle behind. You may look at the world, at the suffering, at the family members still stuck in cycles of dysfunction, and feel that it is unfair for you to be happy. This is a lie from the pit. Your suffering does not help anyone. Your poverty does not enrich the poor. Your sickness does not heal the sick. Dimming your light does not brighten the world. It only adds to the darkness. You are called to be a steward of blessings. When you receive abundance, you become a conduit. You cannot pour from an empty cup. By allowing yourself to be blessed, you obtain the resources, financial, emotional, and spiritual, to actually make a difference. The guilt is a mechanism designed to clog the flow. Release it. Accept that it is your turn. Accept that you were chosen for this breakthrough, not just for your own sake, but so that you could become a distribution center for the kingdom. Now consider the concept of time dilation in this new season. I mentioned earlier that things will accelerate, but your perception of time will also change. In the trauma zone, time is either racing, anxiety, or dragging, depression. In the zone of alignment, time expands. You will find that you can accomplish more in a few hours of focused, peaceful flow than you used to in a week of frantic grinding. This is because you are no longer fighting friction. Imagine driving a car with the handbrake on. That was your life before. You were pressing the gas, effort, but the brake, spiritual resistance, trauma, was engaged. There was a lot of noise, a lot of heat, a lot of smoke, but very little movement. Now, the brake is released. If you press the gas with the same intensity you used to, you will lose control. You need a lighter touch now. You can move faster with less effort. This is the definition of grace, efficiency of movement in the Spirit. Work on refining your sensitivity to the Holy Spirit's nudges. In the past, God had to shout to get your attention over the noise of the battle. Now, in the stillness, He will whisper, a gentle impression to call someone, a sudden idea for a project, a quiet check in your spirit to avoid a certain street. These whispers are the navigation instructions for the fast lane. If you ignore them, you fall back into the slow lane of human reasoning. Human reasoning is linear, divine instruction is quantum. It sees around corners, it knows the end from the beginning. Trust the whisper more than the shout. There is a specific aspect of this restoration that involves your physical environment. Your home is an extension of your energy field. If your home is cluttered, chaotic, or filled with objects that carry negative memories, it will act as an anchor, dragging you back. Go through your possessions. If an object reminds you of a time of pain, of a person who betrayed you, or of a version of yourself that was small and afraid, get rid of it. It does not matter how much it cost. The cost of keeping it is your peace. Cleanse your sanctuary. Make your physical space reflect the clarity you are cultivating internally. This act of decluttering is a powerful ritual of release. It signals to your subconscious that you are making room for the new. As you curate your environment and your circle, you must also curate your intake of information. For years, you may have been hyper-vigilant, consuming news, conspiracy theories, or drama to stay informed and safe. But much of that information was actually programming you for fear. It was keeping your nervous system in a sympathetic state, fight or flight. In this new season, you must be the guardian of your ear gate and your eye gate. Does this content edify? Does it empower? Or does it drain? You have a finite amount of attention. Spend it like gold. Invest it in wisdom, in beauty, in learning skills that build your future. We are building a community here of individuals who are making this exact transition. If you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed and have the notification bell turned on. We are going to continue to explore these depths, and you won't want to miss the next instruction. Let us address the imposter syndrome that often accompanies rapid promotion. As doors open and you find yourself in rooms you only dreamed of, a voice will whisper, "You don't belong here. They're going to find out you're a fraud." This voice is the ghost of your old identity. It is trying to protect you from the shame of rejection by rejecting you first. But you must realize that you are not in that room by accident. You were not invited because you fooled anyone. You are there because your frequency matches the room. In fact, you may find that you are bringing a solution that the people in that room have been desperate for. Your unique journey, your specific battles, and the wisdom you distilled from your pain are exactly what is needed. You are not an imposter, you are an ambassador. Walk with your head high. There is a mystery in the process of rooting that we must explore. I said earlier that you were growing down so you could grow up. Consider the Chinese bamboo tree. For 5 years, you water it, fertilize it, and see absolutely nothing. No growth above the soil, but under the ground, a massive complex root system is developing. Then, in the 5th year, it shoots up to 80 feet tall in just 6 weeks. If it had shot up before the roots were ready, it would have toppled over at the first wind. You are in the 5th year. The sudden acceleration you are about to experience is sustainable only because of the years of invisible growth. Do not envy those who shot up quickly with shallow roots. They are the first to fall in the storm. You have been built to last. This durability is your superpower. You have been forged in fire. Things that would destroy an average person will not even scratch you now. But you must be careful not to become hard. There is a difference between being strong and being hard. Hardness is brittle. It cracks under pressure. Strength is flexible. It adapts. The goal is to remain soft-hearted while having a spine of steel. To love deeply, yet have boundaries that are impenetrable. This balance is the hallmark of spiritual maturity. One of the signs that you are mastering this balance is how you handle conflict. In the past, you might have felt the need to defend yourself against every accusation, to set the record straight. But now, you realize that your character speaks louder than your words. You understand that you do not need to attend every argument you're invited to. Silence is often the most powerful response. It preserves your energy and lets the accuser wrestle with their own shadow. You are no longer seeking validation from outside. You have it from within. As you walk this path, you will discover that your definition of success is changing. It is no longer just about accumulation. It is about alignment. It is about waking up in the morning with a clear conscience and a heart at rest. It is about doing work that matters. It is about having relationships that are safe and nurturing. This is true prosperity. The money and the status are merely byproducts of this alignment. If you chase the byproducts, you lose the core. If you maintain the core, the byproducts hunt you down. This magnetic quality you are developing, this ability to attract rather than chase, is based on the law of resonance. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you want peace, be peace. If you want loyalty, be loyal. If you want generosity, be generous. The world is a mirror. If you don't like the reflection, don't try to polish the mirror. Change the face in front of it. You have spent years trying to change the external circumstances. Now you see that the lever of power was inside you all along. There is a deeper level of surrender that is required now. It is not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of trust. It is the swimmer who stops thrashing against the water and realizes the water will hold him up if he relaxes. You are floating on a current of divine providence. This current knows exactly where you need to go. It may take you around bends you didn't expect, past obstacles you couldn't see, but it is moving you toward your destiny. Your job is to steer, not to power the river. Trust the flow. But what happens when the flow seems to stop? What about the doldrums? Those periods where the wind dies down and the sails hang limp. These are the tests of patience. In these moments, do not panic and start rowing frantically in the wrong direction. Wait, adjust your sails, clean the deck, sharpen your tools. The wind will return. The rhythm of the kingdom is not a constant, frantic crescendo. It has pauses, it has rests. The music is made by the spaces between the notes as much as by the notes themselves. Learn to value the pause. In this pause, you might find that your desires are changing. Things you thought you wanted, fame, revenge, validation, no longer taste sweet. You find yourself craving simpler, deeper things. This is the purification of desire. God is aligning your wanter with His will. When your desires align with His, the friction disappears. You are no longer asking for things that would harm you. You are asking for your inheritance. And the answer to that prayer is always yes. I want to leave you with a thought about legacy. You are not just living for yourself anymore. You are breaking generational curses. You are rewriting the genetic code of your lineage. The healing work you do today will ripple down to your children and your children's children. They will start their race on the platform you built. They will not have to fight the same demons you fought. This is the ultimate motivation. When you feel like giving up, remember who is coming after you. You are the cycle breaker. You are the pioneer. The ground is hard because you are the first one to plow it, but the harvest will be enough to feed generations. Keep your eyes on the vision, write it down, make it plain, read it when you wake up and when you lie down. Let it imprint on your subconscious until it feels more real than your current reality. The bridge between where you are and where you are going is built with the bricks of faith and the mortar of action. Lay a brick every day. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. The cathedral is built one stone at a time. You are ready. The armor is off. The robes of royalty are on. The wilderness is behind you. The promised land is in front of you. Step forward. Claim it. It is yours. And as you step, remember that the only thing that can stop you now is you. The enemy is defeated. The legal rights are cancelled. The door is open. Walk through it. Until next time, stay in the light, stay in the flow, and never forget who you are. To maintain this state of being, you must become vigilant about the inputs you allow into your spirit. You have just declared victory, but the maintenance of victory is often harder than the battle itself. The silence that follows the conquest can be unsettling if you are addicted to the noise of the struggle. You must learn to be comfortable with peace. Do not sabotage your own calm just because you are unfamiliar with it. This creates a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not fill this new space with high-frequency thoughts, intentions, and gratitude, the old weeds will attempt to regrow,